How's it going, my beautiful weebs? And today, we're going to be going through my manga tour. As you can see, there's a bunch of them. I have 2 full shelves of them, and we're going to have a lot to talk about. So let's go. But the first series I will be talking about is A Silent Voice. If you know me, you would know that A Silent Voice is my favorite anime film that I've ever seen to date so far. I absolutely love the series. And the reason I bought this is for really one reason only. Well, 2. One being that I love the series. And 2, after I saw the movie, I heard that the manga actually had a little more content. Not so much so that really changes the story, it's just really cool to see more content, more story from this beautiful series. And fun fact, when I first saw this movie, it was actually on a plane ride back from Washington State on a family trip. And I had to sit next to 2 absolute strangers. I was in the middle. And I mean, if you've seen the movie, yeah, I'm pretty sure at least 1 of 3 of you cried during it, and I was one of those 3. Also, a really fun fact, I got a majority of these for like a mega discount. So like I got these from Second and Charles actually, so you can see it right there. $3. Heck yeah. Oh well, this one was $5. Yeah. $3. Heck yeah. What a steal. And next up is a series that I actually haven't finished reading yet. I'm barely through with volume 1. I really don't have enough time to be reading all these books, but I will get to it at some point. But that series is City. For those of you who don't know, City was written by the same mangaka, same author, who wrote Nichijou, My Ordinary Life, another series which I absolutely love. Similar to Nichijou, this is a comedy, slice of life kind of thing, really comedy oriented, and the art style is the same as Nichijou. I love it for that fact. And really, this is just such a funny, easygoing, lighthearted comedy manga. And I'm very excited to read the rest of it. The author is super talented. I love their art. I was always inspired by this mangaka's art. Such a cool style. And yeah, I'm definitely going to continue collecting this manga because it's amazing. Now, if you've been a part of this channel for quite some time, you would know that I'm an absolute fan of Demon Slayer. And that goes to show right here. This is volume 1 of Demon Slayer, and it's actually signed by the English voice actors of Tanjiro and Nezuko. I mean, if you know Demon Slayer, it's Demon Slayer, you know it. It's amazing. Go read it. Go watch season 2. It's a banger. Next up is a series I didn't really think I would ever actually get into, but surprisingly enough, after seeing the anime, I was hooked. The first time I saw Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro was actually on an Instagram post, you know, like where you just have all the smug face profile pics. And one thing I could really say about this series is that I really love the cover art. The cover art of each volume, and how it's just a nice, big, vibrant, bright colors every single time. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That's adorable. Whoa, it's degenerate time! Eromanga Sensei. Now, this is yet another series where I saw the anime first, and I decided to pick up the manga, simply because, I mean, I liked Eromanga Sensei. I don't know if that's such a trash taste. But I mean, I really liked the art style, and I mean, the story was kind of crap, but I'm excited to check this out at some point. I wonder how many volumes they're actually going to release. Now, I think you're going to start seeing a trend with my manga collection. They are mostly series that I've seen the anime first, and then I went out to get the manga. That's usually how it goes. But don't worry, there are some series over there where I just bought the manga first, and then I saw the anime. We'll get to those. But first, we have Fly Me to the Moon, also known as Tonikawa, this anime. Heard getting season 2 coming soon. But the manga, absolutely adorable. It's just like the anime, the same exact art style, which I love. I love it when series adapt the art style perfectly from the manga. This house the exact same, and this is one example of that. Not only being such a wholesome and sweet story, these cover arts are absolutely stunning, like wow. And here we have Gabriel Dropout. Yet another comedy slice of life random show. This series is honestly just an easygoing, fun comedy. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen this. It's a classic. Again, not gonna lie, I have yet to read this. I think I read a bit of volume 1 a long while back when I first got these. Not to mention also for a deal, check out those prices. Sheesh. Now, it is time for the culture. High School DxD, oh boy. Alright, I mean, I'm sure if you're watching this channel, you would at least know High School DxD and its absolute degeneracy. But for obvious reasons, I can't really show anything on the inside. Oh my god. But I'm pretty sure I can get away with the covers at least, right? Hopefully this doesn't get age restricted, because that sucks. I think it's quite obvious for the reasoning of why I decided to start collecting these. These are still like vacuum sealed in their plastic. I don't know if you could tell. But I think it is quite obvious to see why I got these. And if you've seen the anime, you know. And the manga is, if anything, even more cultured than the anime. So I'm very excited to get into this manga. I think I have all the volumes. 11 volumes? Yeah. On to the next row, we have another series where I saw the anime first, and again, just like always, the manga went through more than I saw the anime at the time. But now I'm pretty sure the anime actually caught up to the manga. How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. Oh wow, she's on volume 1. To my surprise, what's her name? Erori is on volume 1, which is actually pretty surprising. But yeah, I mean, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend, awesome series. But yeah, Megumi, best girl, absolute waifu, Jesus Christ. But I mean, let's be real, she's kind of the cookie cutter of anime waifus here. But nonetheless, amazing series. I love the movie, and I can't wait to read it. Oh boy, is this series that has spawned a ton of anime memes. That is Kaguya-sama Love Is War. Now, Kaguya-sama, to me, I barely read any volumes. I think I'm only in volume 2 as of the time we're recording this. But I don't know. The manga doesn't hit as much as the anime does. I don't know if it's just that it feels a lot more slow paced in the manga, or if it's just actually genuinely that much better in the anime. I mean, the anime is amazing, but here's one of my favorite covers, honestly. Look at this. Volume 10. I just love how they feature all the characters, which I think makes sense for Volume 10. It's like a milestone for mangakas. But an amazing cast of characters, awesome story, and I was already spoiled. Why, Instagram? And if you're wondering who's my best girl from this series, Love Is War, it is Miko. Next up is a series that just recently got an anime adaptation, Komi Can't Communicate. Now, back then, I've heard much talk about Komi Can't Communicate being a show that a lot of people thought was gonna fail as an anime. A lot of people, including me, actually thought that Komi Can't Communicate would be a series that's just better as a manga, simply for the fact that the main character doesn't talk. But I mean, the anime studio and staff, they've completely pulled it off amazingly in the anime. And that's not to say that the manga is not as amazing. The manga itself, actually, I favor a lot more than the anime. And once again, I was already spoiled. Why? Why Instagram? I should just not be on Instagram. Now time for one of the greatest comedy series I think has ever been created for manga and mostly anime. Konosuba. Of course, you know, Konosuba has your boy's waifu, Megumi, right there. I mean, I would cosplayed her, I have a body pillow of her, I have like, I don't know, 7, 8 figures of her. I think it's quite obvious now that Megumi, yes. But just the cast of characters and dynamic, especially in the anime. I mean, I haven't read the manga yet. Again, I like a lot of these series, I haven't actually read them yet. But in the anime, at least, I love the show. It's one of the best comedy series of all time, in my opinion. And I wonder how well they actually adapted from the source material. Though I do know that the light novel, I'm pretty sure, is the actual source material. I'm pretty sure that the manga actually adapts from the light novel, or it's just the exact same, really. But with pictures, ooh. And what really made me happy is that they gave the waifu her own spin-off series, Konosuba, an explosion on this wonderful world. So if I think I have every single volume, volumes 1 through, 5? All focusing on a story about Megumin. I'm fairly certain. Oh, that's a very nice cover. I actually I don't remember this one. Look at that. Next up is one of the most laid-back, no pun intended, manga and anime I've ever yet to read and watch. Laid Back Camp, or Yudu Camp. There's just something so charming about this series that got me hooked from like the first 10 seconds of reading / watching this series. The art style, it's detailed, but so simple and charming at the same time. Not only that, the story itself, I mean, it's about camping. That's just awesome. You don't see that in manga or anime. And Laid Back Camp, honestly, is such a comfy and cozy thing to come to. Such an easy rewatch and reread. Again, not gonna lie, I'm not acting like I read this whole thing yet. I've only read like volume 1. But just from volume 1 alone, I could tell that the manga is just as amazing, if not better, than the anime. And now we finally made it to the series where I decided to pick up the manga first and then watch the anime. Coincidentally at that. I might butcher pronouncing this, but Mieruko-chan. Now this horror comedy series, I saw on the bookshelves for the first time, and it caught my attention simply because of this very different and charming looking cover. I picked it up at first thinking, I was like, oh, why is this anime girl crying on the cover? Is this like a sad story? But then when you take a closer look, you would notice that you could see something in her eyes. Something pretty disturbing. Now, if you haven't seen Mieruko-chan, or haven't read it yet, you're in for some horror-ish kind of things. It's definitely leaning more on the comedy side in my opinion, but it does have the horror elements. It's just more creepy, really. I don't want to really spoil it. I mean, it's a really nice series, and I'm sure it's pretty popular. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen this on anime websites or social media or whatever. It's all over the place. But I've read the first 3 volumes of the manga, which is just slightly past where the anime is at and where it will end, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure volume 4, where I already showed up past, I went to volume 4 instead of 2. Dang it. Volume 2. I'm pretty sure volume 4 here will actually go past where the anime is projected to end, I'm pretty sure. Oh man, a Kyoto Animation classic in my opinion. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Fun fact, I think this is one of the first mangas I've ever actually read in store. I picked up volume 1 and 2 for the first time at a bookstore and read it right there. And at that point I was hooked. I went to watch the anime, I loved it, of course. Season 2 came around, it was a banger. And so far, honestly, the manga is amazing. The character design of this series is just absolutely adorable. The dynamic between each and every character. The story itself, I mean, it's such a solid comedy, slice of life. And don't you just wanna squeeze Kana's cheeks? I mean, come on, look at that. That's adorable. We all know we would be reacting the same way as Sawako here. Next up is a short series. Miss Koizumi loves ramen noodles. So do I. One quick thing that I would like to note that I'm actually not very pleased about is that volume 1 and 2 are both matte finishes on their covers, but for some reason they decided to switch to a gloss finish on volume 3. I don't know why that happened. The next manga holds a very special space in my heart, a spot in my heart, because it is the first manga that I have ever read. This is way back when I started really watching anime, and it was one of the first earlier animes that I've ever watched, and that is My Little Monster. The first time I read this was at my local library. They had every single volume, I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, they only had like volumes 1 through 7, and I had to read 7 to 13 online, which I don't like. I don't like reading online, if that's not obvious. But My Little Monster, I mean, it's been a while. It's been a long while since I read this and watched. I think it deserves a reread. At the time, I was in high school, and for this being a high school romance manga, of course, this touched my little heartstrings and pulled at me. But I mean, honestly, it's a great story. I highly recommend if you haven't read already or seen the anime. I'm fairly certain that the manga actually covers a lot more than the anime ever did, and it goes in pretty deep, honestly. It's the romance aspect paired with your obvious comedy here and there. And Shizuku, honestly, is probably one of my, I'd say, top 7 manga waifus, anime waifus. I love this series. It will forever hold a special spot in my heart. And, I mean, I'm terrible at describing and saying what I want to say about these series, but My Little Monster, I love it. And now, if you remember from the beginning of this video, I talked about a series called City and how it was written by the same author of Nichijou, My Ordinary Life. Now, I feel like it's really hard now for any up and new coming creators to make a series that will ever match Nichijou. In my eyes, I see Nichijou as the greatest comedy series of anime and manga to have ever been created. And it's not just because it's so over the top and ridiculous comedy. It's just the fact that it's set in an ordinary life, an ordinary world. But the art style, the composition, the structuring of this entire series, its characters, its lore, its backstory, everything. The comedic timing of the series is just perfect. And to mention about the anime, the openings, both opening 1 and 2, are absolute bangers. Bops, dude. Such good theme songs. Nichijou will also hold a very special spot in my heart for the main reason it being one of the earlier series that I picked up when I was a weeblet. If I were ever to write a story of my own, I would definitely want an artist to adapt a style super similar to that of Nichijou. Next up is a series that definitely rivals at my #1 spot of manga that I've read so far, and that is the series called Nisekoi, False Love. Yup, the harem war manga itself rivals for one of my top spots in my favorite manga of all time. As expected, this is yet another series where I first saw the anime adaptation and then went out and sought out every single 25 volumes of this beautiful, beautiful series. And if you're wondering about this series as well, that's my best girl. Right there, of course. I love Shotoge. Oh my gosh. She was definitely probably the first, I think only tsundere that I actually came to love. And once I got to volume 25, I'll be honest, I was crying like a big baby. Like, oh my gosh, this series hits hard. It's a beautiful series. Beautiful story. And if I were to reread any of these manga that I've actually read on my shelf that I've actually read so far, I think I would reread Nisekoi first. I think that's how good it is. Next is a series that I'm actually not too sure why I bought the manga for. I think I was just so blinded by my love for the anime. No Game, No Life. There's only 2 volumes out, I'm pretty sure, for the No Game, No Life manga. I'm not sure, I might be wrong. But, I mean, No Game No Life. It's No Game No Life. Mega popular series in the anime sphere. And I'm not so sure about the manga and light novel. I think there's a light novel. I'm not sure about the manga and light novels opinions on it. Haven't read them yet, but the most I can say is the anime was absolutely amazing. Next up is another mega popular series, Re:Zero. What is it again? It's such a long title. Starting life in another world. Once again, this is yet another series where I saw the anime first, and I just had to go out and read and collect the manga. I've only read volume 1 so far, and I mean, it's season 1, it's literally season 1, of course. But the art style is slightly different and a little more, how can I describe it? Dark? Not so much dark, but it definitely has a different feel from the anime art style. I find it very interesting how the manga actually sorts its volumes. It actually goes through chapters. So for like chapter, we have volume 1, chapter 1, which covers the day in the capital arc, I assume. And then this is just another cover that I really liked. Volume 4 of chapter 2, a week in the mansion. So to explain it a little better, it goes chapter 1, volumes 1 and 2, and then it goes to chapter 2, volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Which is honestly pretty interesting. So you have multiple volume 1s, which can get a little confusing for like someone trying to collect this series. And if I haven't made it obvious enough already, yes, Rem is my pick for this series. I love Rem. Next up is a very early and older manga, actually. I think this is an older series. It's a horror comedy, School Live. Now this series, man. The first time, I'm pretty sure I read the first few chapters and volumes of School Live, and then I found that it actually had an anime, which I was surprised to find. And the anime doesn't go through as nearly as much as I think it should have from the manga. The manga itself covers so much more than the anime, and I really wish, and I'm still gonna put out, I hope it's always possible that they adapt the full series, because honestly this is another series that I think the story is absolutely amazing and interesting. Post-apocalyptic world with zombies, and you're just following these high school girls trying to survive. Without spoiling it, I mean, there are some teary moments, I think. I don't really remember. It's been a very long time since I read this. And I would say this is definitely another show that I would reread and rewatch. And with a whole entire 12 volumes, I would give this one a 10 out of 10. Next is a series I wish I had more volumes of because it is so cute. And that is Teasing Master Takagi-san. So far I only have volumes 1 through 4. I do plan on reading these at some point and getting the whole collection. I mean, needless to say, it's a very adorable series. Next up is yet another ultra mega popular series. I'm sure everybody that's watching this video has seen the Quintessential Quintuplets. Just like all the other popular harems of the past, I feel like Quintessential Quintuplets is yet another show that sparked the flame of the best girl waifu war in the harem series. And I've gotta say, the Quintessential Quintuplets is a very interesting spin on the harem genre, considering that every single contender are related, hence the Quintessential Quintuplets. By the way, best girl right here. And I mean, what's there to say that hasn't been said about the series? My opinion is just that this is one of the greatest harems to be created. Amazing writing, adorable character designs. Like, oh my gosh, look at this. Precious. And I mean, hey, if you look like this, you know, I have an Instagram, you can, you know, hop into the DMs, you know what I mean? And yes, I've already been spoiled. But even though that I've been spoiled of the series, I still think it's one of the greatest. And I love the series to to the end. And I cannot wait for the amazing movie that is coming this upcoming year. I think it's going to come out in January 2022, I'm pretty sure is the release date. Look at that final cover. Amazing. Next up calls for a much more thick culture with the series I love called To Love Ru Darkness. Now it's funny that I'm actually bringing this one up first because this is the second series of To Love Ru. I have the original To Love Ru on a separate shelf, but I will get to that after. But for those of you that don't know what To Love Ru is, it is basically more ecchi, more H, more culture. But yeah, it's a harem. It's an ecchi harem. What can I say? But this series has a whopping 18 volumes, and I've yet to buy volume 18. Next up is another classic that I'm actually surprised is not completed yet, and that is Toradora. I first found Toradora on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it was the first time I saw this as in the anime form. The story wasn't finished, so I went out and bought the manga. But the manga story isn't finished. But there are a total of 9 volumes of this. I really love the art style of the covers. It's very unique. And now we reach the other series I think contends for my #1 spot as my favorite manga of all time. We Never Learn. But this series is very long. It has so far 18 volumes at the time of recording this I've collected. I'm pretty sure there's 20 in total. So we're very close. I'm very close to the end, which is so sad because I don't want this series to end. But I'm not going to spoil it. But the way the author ends this story, I've already been spoiled. It's very amazing. It's never been done before. I could say that. I could say that at least. What the author did for this series, the way he ended it or she ended it, phenomenal. Amazing, amazing rom-com harem. I wish I was Narayuki Yuiga. And this is honestly the only series I feel that every single girl in this harem is the best girl. They're all amazing. Like, I don't dislike any of them. Like, for Nisekoi example, I don't really like, what's her name? The orange hair one, Marika, I think. But this series, oh my god. Once I started reading it, it's very rare for me to ever sit down and actually read this stuff, because I just don't have time. But with this series, when I started it, I couldn't stop. I literally could not stop all the way till volume 18 here. And I'm just waiting for volume 19 to come out. Insta buy, insta read. It is such an adorable series. The story is flawless in my opinion. All the different backstories, especially the amount of tearjerkers the series also has. It's honestly insane the amount of stuff the mangaka packed into this one story. And don't ask me to pick my pick for best girl of the series, because I can't. I literally cannot. I have an argument for each and every single one of them for why they are all the best. Next is a series that I have never seen anything about, but I stumbled upon it in this video, this manga shop video, and honestly it caught my eye because its art style is just so simple and adorable. And then I read the synopsis and I was like, I'm in. I'll pick it up. I'll read it at some point. Sure. And that is Yotsuba and. I don't know if it's you actually mentioned the and part in the title, but yeah, Yotsuba and. Since I don't know anything about this series, I mean, yeah, the most I could say is that the art style is what really hooked me and caught my eye. But I've also heard from a friend that it's a pretty decent series. And the next series is something that I never thought I would actually find in person. I always thought I would have to order these volumes online, but luckily enough, I found them in this video right here. K-On! Now, if you know me, you know that I love K-On! It's probably one of my favorite anime series. Easily in the top 5, probably. And now you may be wondering, why do I have 2 volume 1s? Well, let me show you. See, with K-On! You have the regular cover, and then you have the secret special cover. I don't know if it's much of a secret. I actually don't know. Oh, it's a Loot Crate limited edition. I just now found out actually. What the heck? So this is the Loot Crate special edition. I didn't know Loot Crate has been around for that long. I mean, K-On!, one of my favorite music animes. Super adorable art style that the manga actually has. Much different from the anime. And again, I was so lucky to find these in store. Some of them were actually from Second Charles, some of them were from Anime Pavilion. Like, for example, this one, Volume 4. I don't know if you could really see, but it's pretty jacked up. So I do hope to find a better copy of Volume 4 at some point. You also got the high school edition and the college. I really wish they adapted this into an anime, but it hasn't happened yet. Next is a series that I honestly bought on a whim. I don't really know why I got this. I saw the anime and I was like, you know what, I'll check out the manga. And then I flipped through it a bit, it looked nice. So I was like, why not? Kakegurui. So I had to get it, I mean, mostly for the fact that the art style in the manga is actually very cool. Very appealing. Next up is a series that I absolutely fell in love with simply because I saw the anime, like a bunch of other ones I've already gone through. But this one is New Game. And also, by the way, best girl, absolutely adorable. Oh my gosh. Next up are 2 thick volumes for Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. One thing that I will definitely say about Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, that's a mouthful, is that it has a very interesting story, honestly, with, I mean, it is honestly pretty confusing. Oh my gosh. I just gotta say, that's some beautiful artwork right there. Honestly, really interesting, but it is kind of confusing the way the anime adapted it, so I hope that the manga is a little more in-depth and clearer. I don't know. This next series is one that I thought would reignite the harem genre wars for Best Girl, but it kind of blew up and then died like a month and a half after its blow up. And that is Rent a Girlfriend. If you're caught up with the manga online, you know it's gone downhill. It plummeted downhill way too fast. I'm honestly into it for the art at this point. The early parts of the story were nice, like before chapter 100 really. But after that, it really flew downhill. And yeah, I'm really just in it for the art at this point. By the way, Best Girl. It's a shame really. The mangaka is a very talented artist. It's just that I feel like the story is dragging on way too much at this point. And another thing I'm very happy about is that they gave Best Girl her own spin-off. Next up is a manga-only series that I found, and it's called Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie. So far, I think I've only read volume 1 of this beautiful-looking series. The reason I picked it up is because that cover art and scrolling through a little bit, it's really the art style that really hooked me to it. Next up is a very wholesome and sweet manga. Sweetness and lightning. The art in the manga is slightly different from the anime, so that's always new and refreshing to see for any series. And it's also just such a wholesome story. I just had to read it. Now, this next series I talked about in my seasonal anime videos that I stopped making honestly. And that's To Your Eternity. The To Your Eternity manga itself goes way past where the anime left off, and I'm really looking forward to season 2. Though I only have volume 1 right now, I do plan on collecting this series. Oh boy, another seasonal trope one. This one is Uzaki Wants to Hang Out. Now honestly, I got this coming off of the hype of the anime, and honestly, part of me regrets buying it, but part of me doesn't, for one fact and one fact only. This is the cover art. Now, if I come in a little closer, you may be able to make out that a certain area is actually protruding from the cover. Now I think it's not as protruding as it used to be, since it's been on my shelf being squished for all of eternity. But oh yeah, I think you can see in this one especially. You can see that a certain area is protruding from the cover, which is so creative, so unique. and honestly just degenerate. Next up is a manga-only series that I've seen. I have not watched the anime for this yet, but I know I am very aware that this is a very popular series among many anime fans, and that is Wotakoi. Love is Hard for an Otaku. I don't know much about this series. All I know is that it's good. That's gonna be good. And jeez, I got this for a steal! Check this out. So regularly, this manga would cost $18, but your boy got it for 5 buckaroos. I am very excited to read this. This is probably one of the mangas that I'm most excited to actually get into at some point, considering how thick they are and just how beautiful the art is. Such talented artists. And I mean, you know, your boy loves his rom-coms. This is a rom-com, right? And last but not least is To Love Ru, the original. But yes, of course, this is much more culture. After seeing the anime, I was like, oh, forget it. I'm just gonna buy the manga. I heard there's more in the manga, actually. Much more. Whew. But yes, with this series, it actually is 2 volumes per book. So as you can see, we have 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and finally 17 and 18. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite series, To Love Ru. It's definitely a cultured one, and I'm very excited to read this. Oh my gosh. Oh. Also, I don't think I mentioned that with To Love Ru Darkness, it's the same author, of course. The art, dude, so good, so good. The Kentaro, what's his guy name? Yeah, Kentaro Yabuki. He knows how to draw women. He knows how to draw females in such an attractive way. Like, oh my gosh! If you pick this up in the bookstore, take a flip through it. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. Or just watch the anime. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. It's so good. It's so good. But with that, guys, that's the end of my manga tour video. I sure hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you've read any of my beautiful manga in my collection. I'm curious to know your opinions. If you have any more questions for me about any of the series I showed off in my manga tour, feel free to leave a comment and I'll try my best to answer them all. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe for more anime content, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!